A Shaolin monk is under investigation, and I'm not karate kidding you. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. Just a reminder, make sure you're subscribed, because we did a survey and found out that 1 in 4 of you had been secretly unsubscribed by YouTube, even though YouTube says they don't do that. And while you're down there, leave a like and a honeypot emoji in the comments, in honor of everyone's favorite Pooh Bear. So, if you're like me, you first became interested in China thanks to those old kung fu movies. Ooh, Shaolin temples, so cool. Well, it turns out that the head monk at China's Shaolin temple is under investigation for embezzlement of temple funds, improper relationships with multiple women, and fathering illegitimate children. Now, I'm no expert in Buddhism, but I'm pretty sure that's a monk no-no. This is one of the top trending stories on Chinese social media right now. Shi Yongxin has been the abbot of the Shaolin temple since 1999. He's also been the deputy head of the state-run Buddhist Association of China since 2002. Yes, in China, all the major religions are controlled by state-run churches, controlled by the officially atheist Chinese Communist Party. How controlled? Churches with portraits of Xi Jinping instead of Jesus controlled. I can see why the CCP would be interested in going after a Shaolin monk. It's not about fighting crime. This is about mortal combat. After all, the CCP is known for their brutality. This Buddhist association is the same one that has stripped him of his monk ordination certificate, even though he hasn't technically been found guilty of anything. You know, the CCP, they don't like to waste time with trials. So, who is this guy? Shi is known as the CEO monk, which sounds like a straight-to-streaming spin-off of Boss Baby, because he's the first Chinese abbot to hold a master's degree in business administration, and has played a huge role in turning Shaolin into a world-recognized brand. He even met with industry titans like Apple CEO Tim Cook. This guy has done a lot to promote and commercialize the Shaolin monastery. And I mean a lot. For example, 10 years ago, he wrote a $3 million check to an Australian town that agreed to open a Shaolin branch there. He said, if China can import Disney resorts, why can't other countries import the Shaolin monastery? Which is just as exciting a vacation destination. What kid would want to ride Space Mountain when they could ascend Mount Kunlun and achieve spiritual enlightenment? This has generally put him on the CCP's nice list. In fact, back in 2006, Shi accepted a $140,000 car from a local government as a reward for promoting tourism. After the public outcry, he said, "Monks are also citizens. We have fulfilled our duties and made contributions to society, so it's only right that we receive rewards." Ah yes, nothing says living a holy life and rejecting materialism quite like rolling up in a ride that costs more than some boats. Now guys, there's plenty more video to come, but I need to tell you, I don't make corrupt Buddhist monk kind of money. If you want to support China Uncensored so I can keep making these episodes, subscribe to my premium website, ChinaUncensored.tv, where you'll get deep dive content that you won't see here on YouTube, exclusive live streams, and the chance to talk with me, Matt, and Shelley, and a guaranteed promise of spiritual enlightenment. Help me afford the kind of car that a Buddhist monk would drive. So things seemed pretty good for Shi, but he's also dealt with some, let's call it rough patches. In 2015, a self-described Shaolin insider posted a bunch of stuff on social media about Shi, including documents dating back to the late 1980s, purportedly showing Shi being kicked out of Shaolin following theft and other accusations from his own master, and a birth certificate for one of Shi's supposed illegitimate children, along with photos of the alleged mother and the child. Ultimately, the authorities dropped the case, citing insufficient evidence. But now, the same allegations have reared their ugly head once again. And yet, the story really isn't about him. Is it any wonder the head of China's most famous Buddhist monastery would be corrupt? When the Chinese Communist Party came to power, it did its best to eradicate many aspects of traditional ancient Chinese culture, especially religion. During the Cultural Revolution, monks were either killed or forced out of their monasteries. And you thought I was joking with the Mortal Kombat comparisons. There were literal fatalities. Holy sites and texts were desecrated, destroyed, or repurposed. So much was permanently lost. That's why I often say under the CCP, China is in its dark ages. Eventually, the CCP just seized control of all the major religions with their state-backed churches and turned former holy sites into tourist traps. I mean, just because we're communists doesn't mean we can't make a little money. This also helps legitimize the CCP on the world stage as a major tourist destination and say, hey, look, we totally have freedom of religion. Especially when influencers post about how China is so clean, beautiful, advanced, and definitely 100% genocide-free, maybe, probably. So the money from tourists can boost the Chinese economy and its global prestige. It also does wonders for the Chinese Communist Party domestically. In 2023, the so-called temple economy brought in just under $12.5 billion. And this year, it's supposed to be almost $14 billion. Hey, just because we're atheist, communist, Buddhists doesn't mean we can't make a little money, right? The result is a sanitized, commercialized version of Buddhism that serves both as a pressure valve for public frustration and a lucrative revenue stream. I'm actually almost impressed. The Communist Party found a way to monetize blasphemy. At this point, it's less relevant whether or not Shi Yongxin committed the crimes he's accused of or helped commercialize the Shaolin Monastery. The big crime story here is how the CCP has cheapened or destroyed so much rich culture in its own country and left no outlet for those who badly need it, squeezing money from people who just need some guidance or friendship. And of course, you lovely people watching all have my friendship, nay, my love. So before YouTube sends you off to some ungodly corner of the internet, click on this button instead to go to my website that's full of wholesome family fun and anti-communist fervor. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.